Let's talk about the best Pokemon to Lucky Trade in Pokemon Go. Really quick, here's how Lucky Trading works. After you and a friend have interacted for 90 days, you guys become best friends. From the moment you hit best friends on, you guys have a once a day chance to become lucky friends, which by the way is completely random. Having a lucky friend means the two of you have a lucky trade, which means that your next trade will be a guaranteed lucky Pokemon. Now, lucky Pokemon are amazing. Not only does it cost significantly less Stardust to power them up, they are guaranteed to have at least 12 attack, 12 defense, and 12 HP, making lucky trades the absolute #1 way to get the greatest thing ever, a Shundo, which is a shiny 100% IV Pokemon. That's why lucky trades are goated. And if you guys didn't know, I actually have a Shundo of my own from a lucky trade, my absolute beast of a Kyogre. Check that video out if you have not seen it. Let's get to it. Here are the best Pokemon to lucky trade in Pokemon Go. Let's start off by talking about legendary Pokemon. The first Pokemon on our list is none other than Mewtwo. The regular version of Mewtwo is an absolute beast. The top moveset for Mewtwo is going to be Confusion and Psystrike. That's going to deal a lot of damage. It is an absolute top psychic attacker. And if you guys don't know, Mewtwo has 2 mega versions. As you might guess, they're without a doubt absolutely game changing. Its best version is Mega Mewtwo Y with the moveset of Confusion and Psystrike. Statistically, it's going to be the strongest Pokemon that will ever be in this game, so getting a good Mewtwo is very important. Kind of obvious, but it's the clear top psychic attacker. The other version of Mewtwo is Mewtwo X, which is my favorite. Its best moveset is going to be Confusion and Focus Blast. Again, statistically an amazing Pokemon. It will obviously be the #1 fighting type attacker. It's incredibly useful. Fighting types are always going to be useful in Pokemon Go. This is also an absolute must. If you guys want to hear more about Mewtwo X and Y, I did some deep dive videos. Go check them out. Another amazing Pokemon to lucky trade is Rayquaza. The best moveset for Rayquaza is Dragon Tail plus Outrage, and if you want to add a second move, you can throw on Hurricane. Like a lot of Pokemon on this list, Rayquaza also has a mega version. If you guys want to hear more about that, watch my video. This Pokemon is an absolute top Dragon type attacker. It's an absolute top flying type attacker. Incredibly useful types to have a good Pokemon of. If you don't have a good Rayquaza already, you gotta get one. Another great Pokemon to lucky trade is Kyogre. Top moveset for Kyogre is Waterfall and Surf. Now, Kyogre does have a buffed up version of it. It's called a Primal Kyogre. Primal Kyogre will be an absolute beast, a top water type attacker. I did a video if you guys want to check it out. But Kyogre on its own is incredibly useful, a top water attacker. Pretty important to have a good Kyogre right now. And Kyogre's counterpart, Groudon. Groudon is a great Pokemon to lucky trade for. The best moveset is going to be Mud Shot plus Earthquake. Like Kyogre, it also has a primal version, which is going to be an absolute beast with ground type Pokemon. I did a deep dive video on that. Go check that out. Even in its base form, Groudon is an absolute beast. It really packs a punch. It can really take a hit. A very good Pokemon to lucky trade. Next up, we got a fan favorite. Dialga is a great Pokemon to lucky trade. Its best moveset is Iron Tail plus Flash Cannon. If you want to throw on Outrage, it's a top Dragon type attacker. It's a top Steel type attacker. It can take a hit. It can deal some damage. Make sure you guys have a good Dialga. It's amazing. And you could also argue Dialga's counterpart, Palkia, is very, very good as well. It's a top Dragon type attacker. It's a top Water type attacker, and it has many of the same qualities that Dialga has. And to round out the best legendary Pokemon to trade for, we have Zekrom. Now, Zekrom's an absolute beast, and I feel like a lot of people don't know about that. The best moveset for Zekrom is Spark plus Wild Charge, and if you want to throw on Outrage, you definitely can. Zekrom is also a top Dragon type attacker and a top Electric attacker. It's really, really good. And Zekrom's counterpart, Reshiram, with the moveset Fire Spin, Overheat, and Draco Meteor. Reshiram is a top Dragon type attacker and a very good Fire type attacker. I love using Reshiram. I use it all the time. Get your Reshiram if you can. That'll do it for the best legendaries to trade for. Let's move into the Ultra Beasts. We only got 2 here, but they're very, very useful. #1 is Xurkitree with the moveset Thunder Shock and Discharge. I've said this many times, Xurkitree is the electric type version of Rayquaza. It's got really, really high attack. It's gonna do some damage. It's a top electric type attacker and very, very useful. And the other Ultra Beast you guys want to trade for is Kartana. Kartana's best moveset is Razor Leaf and Leaf Blade. It's a top grass type attacker. It's a weird looking Pokemon, but I promise it's useful. Now let's move over to the non-legendary Pokemon. There's a lot of really, really available Pokemon here. So for you not so high level trainers, there's a lot of good options in here. Coming in at #1, we have Garchomp. Garchomp's best moveset is Mud Shot plus Earth Power and Outrage. Garchomp has a future Mega Pokemon that I think we'll be seeing soon. Mega Garchomp is going to be an absolute must. It's going to be a top ground type attacker and a top dragon type attacker, even more than it already is. Because even the base form of Garchomp right now is very, very good. Another great Pokemon on Lucky Trade is Tyranitar. Everybody loves Tyranitar. The best moveset for Tyranitar is Smackdown plus Stone Edge and Crunch. I can't tell you how many times I've used Tyranitar. It's the most used Pokemon in my collection by far. It's an absolute beast, a top rock type attacker and a top dark type attacker. Make sure you guys have a good Tyranitar if you do not have one already, because it also has a mega Pokemon at some point down the line. It's already amazing, and it's gonna get so much better when it has its mega form. That will be crazy. The next Pokemon on the list is Mamoswine. Now, this Pokemon does not have a Mega version, but its base form is really, really good. The best moveset is going to be Ice Shard plus Avalanche and Ancient Power. It's the top ice attacker, which is super, super useful considering a lot of legendary Pokemon are dragon or flying types, so this is a really good Pokemon to have. Now, the next Pokemon on the list, and I'm thinking a little bit ahead here, is Heracross. Yes, Heracross, with the best moveset being Cross Chop, Dynamic Punch, and X Scizor. Heracross does have a Mega version that hopefully we'll be getting soon. The Mega version of Heracross is a top fighting and a top bug attacker, which, like I mentioned earlier, fighting type attackers are super useful, and this is going to be a top version of that. Now, Heracross on its own right now is still not a horrible Pokemon. There's definitely better options out there, but trust me, you're gonna wanna have a good Heracross ready for when the Mega comes out. My favorite Pokemon to Lucky Trade in Pokemon Go, Charizard. Now, Charizard's best moveset right now is Fire, Spin, and Blast Burn. You can throw on another move if you want. The Mega version is already live in Pokemon Go. It's a top fire type attacker. It is an amazing Pokemon. There's two versions of it. They look amazing. Who doesn't love themselves a good Charizard? I want to say it's a must. That's a personal preference, but make sure you have a good Charizard. It's definitely worth it. The next Pokemon on the list, Blaziken, with the best moveset being Fire, Spin, and Blast Burn as well. Blaziken is also going to have a Mega version at some point down the road that is going to be like right there, 1A and 1B with Mega Charizard. So they're both going to be super useful. And to round out the best non-legendary Pokemon to Lucky Trade in Pokemon Go, Swampert. Swampert's best moveset is going to be Mudshot / Water Gun plus Hydro Cannon. Swampert's really great on its own. It's really, really useful in PvP. I like using it in PvE, but its Mega version, and I don't even know how this is possible, is going to be the best water type attacker in the game. Not really by much. It's a 1A, 1B situation, but it's actually better than the primal version of Kyogre. Mega Swampert will be an absolute must down the road. It's a lot more attainable. It's a lot easier to get. I should also mention that it's worth trading the shiny version of any Pokemon I talked about today. It makes the Pokemon a lot more rare. It makes the Pokemon look a lot more cool. But that'll do it for the best Pokemon to Lucky Trade for in Pokemon Go. If I missed any good ones, let me know in the comments down below. That is very much possible. Or if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. This was super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I wish you good luck.